Dylan, and welcome to Back Alley Chat, the #1 fastest growing recovery podcast in the world. I think. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure we are. Today is episode number 14, and I am so looking forward to this one. So for years, I've been following this individual on TikTok. His name is Dylan Wilson. He goes by King Lazy Eye. He's a musician, but he really blew up on TikTok by doing these hilarious skits. Literally, when I am having a bad day, I will sit in my living room in the dark and I will just go through his TikToks. Even if I've seen them 30 times, he cracks me up. And I'm really excited to have him on this episode. We're going to go through a little bit of his story, what he's doing now. He puts out great music. He's about to drop an album. Again, you all can find him at his website, kinglazyi.com, or follow him on TikTok and Instagram, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that when he jumps on. And of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Quick Intel, the #1 best sponsor in the world. Seriously, though, say goodbye to scams and hello to confidence in your investments. Quick Intel is on a mission to make crypto safer, providing advanced AI tools and proactive measures. Detect scams before they happen, make well-informed decisions, and trust the projects you are interested in. Quick Intel's platform, built on the secure Arbitrum blockchain, gives you the edge that you need. No more guesswork, no more blind investments. Visit quickintel.io to unlock the fastest and most reliable information. Be a smart crypto trader with Quick Intel. Also, if you all use DEX tools, there is a Quick Intel link. If you look at any different cryptocurrency on there, and you can literally scan their contract and it will tell you all about the project. They are up to 600,000 scans. Unbelievable. They are killing it, and they are trusted organization within the crypto space. So thank you so much, Quick Intel, for sponsoring this episode. Hi, Dylan. Welcome to Back Alley Chat.
Hey.
So I already did a little intro and kind of told people a little bit about you and your music and stuff like that, and explained to them that we're going to go a little bit through your story and kind of hear about what you're doing now and what you plan on doing in your upcoming shows and stuff. So I was wondering if we could start by you telling us just a little bit about a snippet about your background, where you come from. I know you're in Tennessee, but can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
I was born on an Army base in Maryland. My dad's from Alabama. Moved back, when I was about 3. My parents got divorced and lived in Lawrence County. They got into drugs pretty bad, so I got put in state's custody and lived with my grandparents for a long time. And I started using drugs and shit about the age of 12. Started doing meth when I was 14. When I was 13, I got my first guitar, started playing music, and methamphetamine and music kind of went hand in hand, and alcohol and shit. So it was eventually it was hard to like kind of differentiate those two things in my life. So now I'm at a point where I'm writing music and recording music sober, which I always had a big fear of. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot better than it was going. Like I always thought, I was like, I'm going to lose my creativity or whatever. And it didn't happen. So if anything,
that's awesome. That's good news.
Yeah.
Because you're so creative. I love it. I'm like, how does he come up with this shit? Like even your skits and stuff and your songs. I love all the lyrics of your songs. They're just like, it's just awesome. And you have to be creative. How did you start writing your music? When did you start that? If you started playing when you were 13?
Like as far as like writing lyrics and stuff, I guess I was probably 15 or 16 and like trying to teach myself how to sing. I used to it's kind of weird. I still do this to this day. A lot of my videos are in the car. I would just get in the car because I didn't want anyone to hear me and then just sing. So like it's kind of like hard for me to break out of that, like right here, there's only one person out of like 10 people that I live with that has a car because we're all drug addicts who lost their license. But there's a broke down Saturn, and like I'll just sit in there and play guitar and shit and just belch at the top of my lungs. I probably look like a fucking crazy person.
It sounds good though. I love it. And I love when for instance, there was a guy who told you that you looked like you were 40. Did you write that then? Was that a freestyle or did you already have that?
I wrote it on the spot. I just pressed record and like just came up with it right then. I didn't like write anything down. Just sometimes it works better that way.
Yeah, you need to get paid. That was really good. You're really good at being creative. It's impressive. So 14, you start using meth, and then you're still living with your grandparents at this time?
Yeah. So I live with my grandparents. I'm like moving back and forth between like I got kicked out and like lived in like this. I was like kind of like bouncing around from people's couch when I was about 15. And then I came back to my grandparents, and then I graduated when I was 17, and I was on the run from DCS. They wanted to keep me in custody till I was like 19. I was like, fuck that. So I just like ran away. I ran away to Alabama and painted boat docks and worked with my dad that lives down there, who was a fucking complete mess. He's back in prison, but he was just a complete mess. We got an apartment, and we ran from the cops one time on foot, and it was just and then I came back when I was like 18. So
did he really not have shoelaces in?
Right. I told you about that. Yeah.
No, I watched it on your TikTok. Tell us the story.
Yeah. All right. So I was at this bar. I hadn't turned 18 yet. I was 17, and they used to let me play there. So I was playing there, and I started drinking, and which was a big no-no. They warned me once. They was like, don't drink here anymore. They're like, don't drink. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not going to drink. They turned around. He came back. He took the drink. He's like, dude, you got to go. Cause my set was over, like I wasn't even supposed to be in there anyway. So they kicked me out. My dad made a scene. He's a very like reactionary, explosive person. And he's basically just a giant child. We got kicked out. And so we're like walking back, and he's just being loud and rambunctious. And then we hear whoop, whoop behind us.
Oh no.
And we look back. The cops getting out of the car. So we just like take off through like this series of backyards and shit. And then like all of a sudden I'm running by myself. So I'm like,
Dad, where are you?
If it wouldn't have been my dad, I would have kept fucking going. No doubt. But I was like, I gotta go back and get my dad. So like I circle back, like cops aren't chasing us anymore, but he's like hung up on a fence. And I'm like, how does this happen? It was a 4-foot chain link fence. He's like, my shoelaces got caught up. I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. So I get home, and he's wearing like fucking like loafers. There's not even, it doesn't even have shoestrings. I'm like, you have to choose a different excuse.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are obviously having an eventful life. Alabama, boat docks, bars, running around, loafers.
Yeah.
And now you're really getting into your music, right? More around this age?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I'm in the middle of recording an album right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going really well, working with a dude named Thomas Onabane, who he's just really talented at what he does. And I've actually like, it's kind of been good to like have like this period, like living in sober living, to where like, besides just like paying my bills and shit, I really have like a lot of time to really focus on it and like kind of keep a step back from like the other realities. It's kind of like feels like a timeout,
Yeah, for sure. So, when you started doing professional music at 20, and this is something we also talked about that I wanted to touch on. So you were kind of, when we were chatting, you were telling me how when you were using, it really started to spark some mental health issues that you never had prior, right? So can you tell me more about that and like how you even knew what was going on and that it wasn't the drugs and it wasn't going away and what your diagnosis was?
So as a child, I was diagnosed with major depressive, and then it would turn into bipolar. And then there's several different diagnoses I got as a child before I was even into drugs. I've been in therapy since like forever, since was put in state's custody shit because it's like required.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started using meth, I'd go into psychosis pretty frequently, which it's a normal fucking thing. I see shit, hear shit. But when I stopped using meth, like that didn't go away, and I was like, this is not supposed to happen,
right?
This is like in the dark, I still see people and shit. Like I know they're not real, so it doesn't really bother me anymore. But like it's the auditory things that are just like,
even seeing things out of the corner of my eye. I have this thing. So, okay. So, I do outreach, right? So basically one of our cars got infested with roaches because how could it not? Right. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm a scared little bitch. And so when I see a cockroach, I fucking lose it. Okay. But now I've been so traumatized that I see a shadow on my arm and I'll think it's a car. I'm like, almost murdering everyone in the vehicle. So I can't even imagine like seeing things more often. Cause to me, it's just a shadow. Right. But it really like actually freaks me out. So did you go to a doctor or what do you do for that?
Well, I did go to a doctor. I went to Centerstone, which, it's free. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. It didn't go too well. Like they stopped filling my medication. And I was just like, this is dangerous for everybody around me. So, and like one time my mom's friend, she was on the run. She was staying at her house And I was like, there's people in the fucking woods, y'all. Like, I'm not joking. I can hear them. I saw them. You know, they're like, Dylan, whatever. You know, at this point, they're sick of my shit.
Right.
I do this every fucking time. You know, they're like, Dylan, you're fucking crazy. You know, you need to quit smoking meth. Da, da, da. Well, I go to work and I come back and there were people in the fucking woods.
Stop it.
And they arrested her. Yeah, they were bondsmen. They got shit skip bail. And so now it's hard for me to not trust it. You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe there are people. Maybe there are people.
There were last time.
There were last time. You know, if like 1 out of 100 times, you know, you're right, you're always going to think about that one time you're right.
Course.
So yeah. So now I chase it down. You know, that's the only way to be sure.
To just look into it, investigate.
Just investigate. Yeah. Put your head on and just dig in. You know, that's the only way to do it.
So you're back in Tennessee, and I know that you've been going back and forth with the law, and just what did all your troubles start? What was like your first arrest for, and what's going on? How do we get you out of the system, Dylan? How do we rescue you?
My first arrest was for a simple assault on Father's Day during a Civil War reenactment on a Civil War battlefield. It was like so I was just having a bad time. I'd been drinking. Okay. He had been drinking. He was playing drums for me at the time. He kept poking me in my collarbone. I was like, don't do that. I don't like that. And he did it again. And like, you know, we just got to fighting on this Civil War battlefield. And when you win, you don't. So yeah, that was I ran. And I'm like, so this is the thing. Williamson County police officers are probably the stupidest cops that exist, because like when they called my cell phone, they're like, you need to come turn yourself in. We have an arrest warrant for you. And I was like, I'm already in Murray County. I'm out of your jurisdiction. But really, I was sitting across the street on a porch with a yellow electric guitar in my hand. All they had to do was there, and they would have saw me, you know? Like, and I was just like on the phone with them, watching them. I was like, no, I'm not coming. You can't, you know, I'm already back in Murray County. You can't come get me. So like, then I just like, my grandmother with Alzheimer's, that's the only person I could call. I was like, I need you to come get me. So it took her fucking forever.
She really had Alzheimer's?
Yeah, she really has Alzheimer's. So she was with my sister, and she asked me over there. She's like, so why do we have to come get you? So I just would tell her something different that was like a little less severe each time.
Right.
Until eventually I just needed a ride. You know?
Well, that's good that she'll never know any of your issues. She'll just love you for the little Dylan she always knew.
Yeah. I'm a fan for sure. She doesn't.
So you go back to Murray County, and then what? Because you just got out of jail, right? I only know because I look at your TikTok and you go missing, and I go, where did Dylan go?
This was a long time ago. This was like when I was probably 25, probably 24.
Okay, and you're 28 now, right?
28. So this is like 4 years ago when that happened. And then what I'm on paper for is a burglary. It was a meth-induced psychosis, and my best friend had passed away. And when he died, they put all his shit in like this shed. And he had there was like a whiskey tumbler set he had given me for my birthday, and I had one and he had one. So like when he died, I was like, for some reason needed that other fucking tumbler. So I stole that, like installing some other shit, and I gave it all back except for the tumbler. And so they're like burglary, and I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. And then I violated that. Failed a drug test for meth. So and then I went away. So they fully revoked me. But I'm like serving I'm on furlough. So
okay. Are those the only two charges you've ever had?
No, but I'm not going to talk about all of them.
We don't have enough time, probably.
Yeah, I just possible. Don't.
Because they sound also a little silly. Like you wouldn't think you'd be dealing with so much nonstop bullshit over something so like a Civil War reenactment, fight.
Now, I've ever those people were probably like thought that it was the most realistic reenactment they'd ever seen in their life. Beat the shit out of each other.
They want to hire you now. You should go back.
Yeah, it was funny. He's from Ohio too, so.
So right now you're coming up on a few weeks sober, right? Can you tell me a little bit about your recovery journey, like what it's been like for you, things that you've tried, or the longest amount of time you've been in recovery, or? Yeah,
so I kept drinking and shit. Like I would get like 3 months in for some reason. That's like my number. I would get like 3 months in. Like when I was in jail, I was still using like meth and shit like that and stuff. But when I got out of jail, I stopped doing all that shit and took my recovery seriously. And I got about 3 months, and then I started drinking, and then I got a month, and I started drinking, and now I'm about at a month, and I'm done drinking. The thing is I never really got like super shit faced or anything, but it still counts.
Right. Well, it's about like the thought process, I guess, right? And being able to play that tape through. So what are you trying differently this time? Only because, we got listeners all over the place. We got some that are still getting high. We got the whole gamut on here.
This time I'm not lying about working the steps. You know what I'm saying? Before they're like, "Are you working the steps?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, totally. All of them."
I'm on the 8th right now. I'm on
right now. Like, what is it? And I'm like, that's work your own program, dude. Right.
Right. So that's good. So honesty, that's good. Open-mindedness, I guess, because you're in a halfway house, which I'm sure that's, I know you have a child, and I'm not sure if you still have a girlfriend or.
No, I'm not. No, I'm single. I'm actually like.
You hear that, ladies? On purpose.
Oh, no.
Okay, not yet.
No.
You're just broken enough. They're all gonna like you now. When you get better, no one's gonna like you. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have red flags. I have tie-dye flags.
So, you're doing the halfway house and you're enjoying it. It's been positive for you, I guess. But were you there when you relapsed? They let you stay?
No, I wasn't here. I was in another one. And I was at actually one called Design for Living. I'm still friends with all of them. I see them all at the meetings and the directors and stuff. And, I was honest. They were like, piss in this cup, and I pissed in the cup. And they're like, "Did you drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally, I did." And they were like, "Well, you can't stay here." And I was like, "That's all right." And then they hooked me up with this dude, Logan, who is actually quickly becoming one of my best friends. He's like the director. He's like really young. He's only like 30, and he owns like 3 houses that he does sober. Yeah, I know. So he's a really good dude. He's got like 7 years sober. He's just a fucking trash can of a human as far as drugs go. So he's an awesome person.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And you were doing homeless outreach for a little bit. So when was that? When were you doing outreach for?
I was doing outreach for The Beat, which they're still going strong. My buddy Darren Bradbury, he's also a songwriter from Nashville, and it was just getting to be where I was taking that shit home with me, and I started I wasn't focusing on myself at all. Just didn't have time for myself or my music or anything like that. Like it was kind of becoming my everything, and that's just not me right now. I couldn't, and plus I wasn't really getting paid for it. So
sounds terrible.
Yeah, and it's weirdly expensive to live in sober living when you have to fucking shit in the same toilet that 9 other dudes.
I know it's not cheap. It is not cheap at all. I'm trying to start a fund down here so we can at least help people when they first move in. Because who has unless you have parents that are gonna hook you up, who the fuck has any money by the time they get out of rehab to pay for a sober living house? So we're
lucky and had loyalty saved up from when I was in jail and couldn't spend any of my money. No, I was going to give my child's mother access to it, but something happened where she lost my cards and shit, which is actually a fucking blessing in disguise. Because when I got out, I had several grand saved up, and I was like, "Oh, cool! What the hell?" So
yeah, and that's all from people streaming your music on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah, streamings and people cash apping me and shit while I was in jail. I don't know why they would do that, but they did. And then the weirdest, most bizarro shit happened. People started to steal my identity.
What?
Tons of people started making fake king profiles, and they're like, "Hey, I heard about your son in the hospital." And I was like, "You need to pay his medical bills." And I was like, "That ain't me, dude. My son is not in the hospital." And secondly, I've never paid a medical bill in my fucking life. You don't have to pay those, dude. Those are free. That's free money. You never pay medical bills. It doesn't show up anywhere. You're not going to get arrested for it.
People that pay medical bills boggle my mind. I'll sometimes with some of the individuals I'm dealing with outside, I'll be like, why are you homeless? What's caused this? And they'll be medical bills. I go, well, I know you're fucking lying now. Let's get on with it. Tell me what's really happening. Cause I've never paid a medical bill in my life and no one ever asked you to. You didn't pay your rent?
Where they're going to come cut your liver out of your fucking body.
Right. So.
By the way, it's weirdly, insanely expensive when you try to kill yourself and don't succeed.
Yeah. Do you have medical bills to prove it?
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm like, man, this would make someone want to kill himself.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd go with your toaster way.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sitting in the car thing takes way too long. I would definitely not do that one.
You got to write a book and just get into it. And, it could be a nice time for a nap.
Yeah. Right. Soothing. So, okay. So tell me, what's going to be the name of your album that you're dropping?
It's going to be, so, like the ACAB thing, all cops are bad, all cops are bastards, from like the, like when punk very first came about. Well, mine's going to be called All Boyfriends. So the album art is just two cops kissing. And it's so fucking hilarious because I don't really take much serious because I don't have time to. And I don't know. It's just a silly fucking name for an album. So I just wanted to do it. It's kind of like a woman named Amber Fogel, who I definitely recommend. She's a tattoo artist in Oregon, drew it up for me, and she did an incredible job. So
that's really cool. What's which one of your favorite songs that you've written?
Probably either the one that was funnest to record was E-I-E-I-O, and I named it. There's not E-I-E-I-O in it, but the first song my son ever learned to sing was he would just walk around with his little guitar and sing E-I-E-I-O over and over again. So I just named a song that, and that was probably my favorite one to record, just because like me and Thomas really completely deconstruct all of our songs or all my songs and just rewrite them to where they like fit a formula that sounds better to people. So
that's cool. I didn't even know there was a formula like that.
Well, I mean, we're kind of like inventing one. Like we're tired of like verse chorus music, So we're trying to make a lot of songs like sort of linear. And just kind of have like just weird parts in it that
that's my favorite part about your music. I'll like something totally unexpected will be next. You'd think like a chorus is coming and it'll be like some random bridge where things get really fast or slow down. And I really like that a lot.
Yeah, we've been trying to experiment. So we're experimenting even more. Like Thomas is really good about making that shit make sense. Like in the past, I've gone in and like producers have been like, well, we need to do it this time signature, this tempo, this BPM, da 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 da. And it has to fit this, and you have to play the click track to this. And I'm just like, go get fucked, dude. This isn't even fun anymore.
Right.
You don't know what you know. Yeah. I actually had a really bad with a producer on like not my first two singles, but like Slow Burn and like Oh My God, and like the guy that produced those was just an absolute total fucking nightmare. I'm not gonna drop any names, but
and it makes it really not fun anymore when they make your work, which you enjoy, like a nightmare or miserable.
Yeah.
What is the genre of your music? I'm sorry. I love your content. It's great. I've been making content forever, but for me, my best content was not made by Viceland. But so you do such a good job doing it yourself. But you have one where you're showing like different genres or different music, whatever that your songs fall under. It was like really funny.
Oh yeah. Those were playlists that people had made. Like, right. Man, I wish I could remember some of them. Someone was like, I don't know, the alternative, of course. And then like someone said farm emo, which I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, there's some pretty good ones. There's some silly. Really one's called I'm going to go ahead and call the cops. Yeah.
So what do you consider the genre? Because like I said, I feel like it's like a punk country something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man, I don't know, like alternative country, alternative. I don't really know what to call it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's unique. You know what I mean? It's like totally your own.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like, man, why can't I just be normal? Why can't
Thank God you're not. I mean, it's hard. This is like the suffering of an artist, right? Because I feel like a lot of artists have these brains that are just a little bit different. And that's kind of what you have to struggle with. But it's also what you get to make beautiful art with and make people happy. And like I was saying in my intro, like I'll literally sit in my living room and having a miserable day and just like listen to your music and watch your stuff, So you're doing that for people out there. Which is cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. That's really sweet to say. That makes me feel better.
That's good.
Yeah. I guess one thing is like, I know that I'm not technically talented enough to like do shit. So like, I just have to make it as unique as possible. You know what I mean? Like that's my strong suit.
Yeah. Well, it definitely helps. I mean, so you play is that a harmonica that you hook up to the guitar?
You're talking about
what
like,
is it?
What is it?
Yeah. The thing.
Yeah. It's a harmonica.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you play that, the guitar, anything else?
Mandolin, banjo, I'm okay. I know some chords on piano, but I don't really say that I play it. But anything with a string on it, pretty much, besides the violin.
Awesome.
And
That's awesome. And so you have some upcoming shows, right?
yeah, I do. Most of them are around Nashville. I'm playing a house show this Saturday in Jackson. But then like everything else is like in Clarksville and Nashville and Columbia, stuff like that.
And Tennessee, that's like where it's at for all the, are you close to like Nashville area?
Oh,
you're in Nashville. Okay. So that's like the perfect place for you to be able to do your music and
I've seen it change because I grew up in this area, you know, I'm from like 2 counties away, but I've been playing music here since I was like, you know, a teenager. So like, I've seen this town change so much, and I've seen it change for the better. And then I've seen like some things that have happened. Like there's definitely like an oversaturation problem, but like, it's so cool when someone random just was like, let me show you my music. And like, you listen to it and you're like, this is fucking incredible. But like, it's hard to like get traction here, you know, like
there's so many people, you know, trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
Basically.
I've been doing this for so fucking long, and it's just now starting to pay off, you know? So like, there's one thing I could tell anybody that's trying to do is like, just keep going. Cause like I'd given up, and then like, it kind of took off. So like,
and you were telling me you kind of gave up, and your mom was like, Dylan, you got to download TikTok. So tell us, because everyone gives up before the miracle happens. A lot happens in recovery, happens in life. So tell me how that went for you.
Well, my mom, you know, my mom's also the only person that I can write around. You know what I mean? Like I can write music. And anyone else, I'm just like, don't listen to me, motherfucker. You know, but her, like, it doesn't. You know, I wrote 25 in her house after I'd gotten out of the mental hospital and stuff, and like we cried, and it was sweet. And like she one day she was like, her and my sister were like, you should download TikTok, and I was like, no, I like girls, so I'm not going to do that. And they were like, no, for real, you need to download TikTok. So I did, and then like I created some shit, and it didn't really do anything. And Josie was like, you should put your music and tell some jokes. So I did, and like it just started like slowly gaining traction. And that was when my account was called Matthew McConaughey. So yeah, it was Heath Ledger, and then it was McConaughey. And then I was like, I don't know why I just didn't use my band name, because I mean I've been using King Lazy Eye since like 2018, 19. So yeah, so then I just kind of like changed it because I got banned. I had to restart. Like they were like, you got to quit, dude. My old skits were way worse. Like were so bad. Like I don't know. Like people have like came up to me like, I don't know how you haven't got canceled. You know, so, like,
I'd pay to watch them. You should put them all on Patreon.
I'm pretty sure I still have some like saved in like my Google like photos like buried somewhere, but.
I mean, I love the dark humor. For me, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, we're all just trying to stay alive and make it another day. Like, let's enjoy ourselves.
Right.
Let's have a little bit of fun. So
a lot of them were like showing, you know, a lot of them, like, you could definitely tell I was like in a dark spot in my life, you know, like some of them really, really dark. And like, they were funny, you know, but they were also like, they seemed like there were no jokes in them. It was just like situationally, like, this is fucking dark.
Right. This is fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
How has it been to like have this following on TikTok and to just, I don't know, I'm sure it's brought a different vibe to your life a little bit, maybe not. Maybe you don't give a fuck at all, but it seems like a lot of people that like love you and like love to watch your stuff. How has it changed you in any way or made you think of things a certain way?
Probably definitely like made me more grateful for sure. Like when people reach out and, you know, like one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced that I've always said that I want to write. I remember the first time I listened to Nirvana and like I got like goosebumps, you know, and I was like, I want to do that to somebody, you know, I want to be able to write. So I want to be able to inspire somebody to do that, you know? So like I've had people like reach out to me and this is the coolest shit ever, like get tattoos of my lyrics, you know? And like, I was like, that's so fucking cool.
That
like,
is
you know,
so
that made
cool.
me feel really good, you know, like that it meant that much to somebody. And like someone told me that they showed their mom and their therapist the lyrics to Loaded Guns because like they had a hard time explaining the way that bipolar works and shit like that. Like, you know, and then but the absolute coolest fucking thing ever is I have a song that I haven't recorded it yet, but it's called I Wish You Would Come Home. And I wrote it about, you know, my child's mother. I wish you would come home and stuff like that. It's I got a sickness in my bones, you know, I wish that you'd come home. And this lady reached out to me one time. She's like, "Hey, you don't know me, but my husband recently died of bone cancer, and we loved that song." And like that, and for that song to have a completely different meaning,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, I got a sickness in my bones. I wish you come home. I wrote it as it's a sad song, but it's like the way it like turned into something beautiful for someone else. Like
right.
how it's like, it's really is subjective to whoever listens to it. So I like did a video of it and made it for her, and like tagged her in it and stuff. Cause I was like, that's the least I could do. But that really touched me. I thought that was super cool.
That is super cool. That is like so awesome. So do you have bandmates, or how does that work?
I do. When I went to jail, so I was in there for, a while, a little bit. And so they had to like go back to their other bands and find other gigs and stuff. But I got my drummer back. I finally managed to convince him. First off, he's one of my best friends. We do a lot of videos together, like a lot of us harmonizing. We harmonize really well. So I got him back. And then, but my bass player, he's really busy with his new job, and he's got other bands and stuff. He also runs a label and shit now. So he's really busy. So probably going to find another bass player. And then Thomas is my new guitar player, and he's incredible. He was with a band called Royal Teeth, and he's from like Louisiana, and they're all really talented. They're all better at what they do than I am. And it like really helps me feel
good,
more music. Yeah. They bring out the important parts of it.
Now, are you an independent artist, or are you signed somewhere, or?
I was signed to an indie label called Sky Daddy. I'm not signed to them right now, but I do have a publishing deal through Upstate Sound. So they do all like my sync licensing. If my shit ever gets picked up for a movie or, puts it on, they use Symphonic to like put all my music on like Spotify and Apple Music and all that shit. So I do have that.
When I was looking at your tour dates, it looked like you had a decent amount of tour dates coming up. Like maybe there's like 15.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I would call them tour dates
or whatever, shows, right? Or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you plan on making it all through sober? Like, do you have anything that you do when you're at a club? Are your bandmates supportive of you, or how does that work?
Yeah. So all these shows that are coming up are all going to be solo. They're not going to, we still haven't we're still like getting the full band sound back together because it takes a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I schedule it's just because people were really bothering me about it. They were like, please come play. I was like, all right. I mean, they're like, you're out of jail. What's up? Right. What do you give it, motherfucker, loser, and shit like that. I'm just kidding. But
they're like, get back to it, bitch. We fucking want your music because now that's your thing.
Riley said to me that really struck a chord with me. He's like, man, you're so much better sober than you like, musically than you are, when you're using and you're drunk or whatever. So like art is more important to me than music is more important to me than getting fucked up. I would rather be uncomfortable and make great art than be comfortable and do something shitty. You know what I mean? So
maybe not do anything.
Maybe not do anything.
Maybe not live very long or do anything. And you're in the club with some pretty cool people. There's a lot of awesome artists out there that are in recovery. So,
Yeah, there are. I met Margot Price. I was at her 40th birthday, and she is super cool. She's in recovery. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but she's an incredible singer and stuff. And she's really sweet. She gave me some really good advice that I can't really remember right now.
It's no big deal.
And I remember it was important. I know it was important, but So there are definitely some really cool artists that are in recovery. Pretty sure Tyler Childers is in recovery as well.
We got to wrap up really quick. Before we wrap up, I wanted to do some funny would you rathers. They're going to be quick. Okay. All right. So, would you rather lose your sight or all your memories?
God damn. Probably my sight.
Your sight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather swim in a pool full of Nutella or a pool full of maple syrup? Can you swim in Nutella?
I'm going to go with Nutella. I feel like the maple syrup would kill me.
Would you rather be incarcerated or homeless for a year? Homeless? Yeah.
I'd rather be fucking 13 years than be incarcerated for 9 months.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm never going.
I feel you. I picked homeless too. Well, that's good. No, we all hope that you don't go anywhere.
I'm not going to.
Except up.
Yeah. In the head. I would
Would you rather be 11 foot tall or 9 inches tall?
11 foot tall.
11.
I don't want to get stepped on.
But you might be able to, you could sneak through a keyhole probably. You like roll right under a door. They wouldn't even know you're there.
If I'm doing that, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to, and I'm probably going to go to jail for it.
They'll never be able to handcuff you if you're 9 inches tall.
Hey, I seen a guy with one arm in the courtroom with one handcuff on, so don't tell me that. They will find a way to handcuff you.
They handcuff you to your foot when you only have one arm. That's what they do. I've seen it. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Poor dude.
Would you rather be loyalty 1,000 years ago or just like a regular person 1,000 years in the future?
Repeat that one.
Royalty 1,000 years ago or regular robot human 1,000 years in the future?
Probably a royalty 1,000 years ago.
It was probably awesome back then.
I'm scared of the future. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I've been on this AI kick, like looking into it and shit, and like it's ridiculous, the shit that they're doing. So
it's scary. I think that we're all going to be partial robots. Probably that's the only thing that I can think of that would make sense.
Cyborgs.
Kind of. It's like we'll just have like AI kind of doing things for us, or they're going to take over a bunch of shit. They have ones that look like human beings that talk like, I went to Checkers the other day and I had a whole ass robot take my entire order. I thought I was going to fuck this thing up. So I was like, double cheeseburger with no cheese and no onions, but only ketchup. Actually add whatever. And it got it right. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God.
Imagine if someone, it's 2005. Someone travels back from the future. They're like, if you don't have a cell phone, you're not going to be able to do shit, anything at all. Like if you don't have one, you're not going to be able to, you can't even like order at McDonald's or like I was at the mall the other day and they were like mobile orders only. I was like, what if you don't have a cell phone, you know?
Right. Yeah. The internet is.
We'll have cell phones.
All of my clients don't have a cell phone. It's a total nightmare. I was at Social Security office. They're like, well, we need an email. I said, they don't have an email, lady. Like, what are you talking about? This person can barely remember their Social Security number. Like an email. It's just, So I think that's how it's going to be. We have to be a little robotic in the future. Or maybe we won't survive, but maybe it'll be better because maybe it'll be healthier. I don't know. It's a lot to think about.
Scary.
I'd go back in time though too. And let's see. What's in one last good one? Ooh. Well, maybe you won't even care about this one, but a rat in your kitchen or a roach in your bed?
A rat in my kitchen.
Yes.
It's hard to shoot.
I one night I woke up and like my house was clean. It's like I don't know where it was. So I feel like I was like in my bed and I looked and it was a palmetto bug. I don't know if you've ever been to Florida. They're like massive roaches that are this big. In my bed, I almost died. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Never sleeping in that bed again.
I always think I see them. I'm like, oh fuck, but it's like a fuzz or something like going across the.
Well, Dylan, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Where can everybody find you online?
Everything is like at King Lazy Eye. Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, all the things are at King Lazy Eye. Like I got really lucky and just like no one wanted that name.
I'm sure. I think it's a good name. I think people make fun of it. I think it's funny. I think it's very memorable, which is.
I was just trying to find something I could get the fucking Gmail to. You know what I mean?
Hey, you did it. You got everything to it.
Cash App, Venmo, fucking PayPal, Facebook, all that shit. I was like, no one ever thought of this word before, you know?
And you know it's a scam if it's not from at King Lazy Eye. He'll never pay his medical bills. Please stop bothering him.
I'm not going to pay anyone's medical bills.
And any last piece of advice for anybody that might be watching?
Whatever your thing is, just keep doing it. Like, just don't stop doing it. Cause I mean, you're going to have a lot of people trying to dissuade you from doing it, and just use that as fuel. Cause I mean, it'll work out. Yeah. If it's supposed to.
Really quick. Did everyone always believe that you were going to make it in music, or did you have a lot of...
Absolutely not. I had a lot of haters. I have a lot of people now that were fucking very mean to me in the beginning, trying to be buddy buddy now and trying to collaborate and work. And I'm just like, you fucked up.
That must be a nice day to be able to say that.
Yeah. I like turning down.
Yeah.
One of my.
Well, thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. I know you got like a lot going on, so I really appreciate it. And everyone follow Dylan, aka King Lazy Eye. I love your music. I can't wait till your album comes out. I listen to your stuff on Spotify and on YouTube, and I really, really love it. So I hope you keep putting awesome music out and awesome content. And we're all rooting for you to make it past your 90 days and start being a person. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Dylan.